So in this video, we will learn how to create invoice using Google Forms and Google Docs. Now suppose guys you have created an online order form using Google Form and you want whenever a customer fills the form and places a new order, you want to create an invoice of the same order automatically. So guys, using Pabbly Connect, you can set up this automation. So the trigger of this automation will be receiving a new order on Google Forms and the action will be creating an invoice in Google Docs for the same order. Now how you can set up this amazing automation? To know this, you have to come with me to my screen.
So first of all, we will go to a browser and search for pabbly.com/connect. And after reaching to the landing page of Pabbly Connect, by clicking on sign up free, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. Or if you already have an account, just click on sign in. So I will sign into my own Pabbly Connect account. And after signing in, we will reach to this all apps page of Pabbly. Here we just have to click on access now below Pabbly Connect. And now we can see that we have reached to Pabbly Connect's dashboard. So in this dashboard, click on create workflow and give this workflow a name. For example, I would like to name my workflow as Google Forms to Google Docs. And then just click on create. Now we can see that a workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have two different windows. First one is trigger window, second one is action window. So triggers and actions are basically those two concepts, those two principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's begin with the trigger window. So the idea here is first we have to get the details or the data of form submission from Google Forms in Pabbly Connect. Now suppose guys, using Google Form, I have created an order form and I have placed or shared that form with all of my clients and customers. So whenever a user wants to order some product from my business, just take example of a cake business, like I own a cake business, and for that to receive orders from my customer, I have created a Google form. So the customer can enter their details, their requirement in that form and submits the form. So we want that whenever a customer enters the details and submits the form, basically they place an order, the details of that order should be captured inside Pabbly Connect. And then using Pabbly Connect, we will send that data to Google Docs, and in Google Docs using an invoice template, a template document, we will be creating invoices on the basis of order which we have received from Google Forms. So let's begin. So here in Pabbly Connect, in trigger window, first in choose app, we will search for Google Forms. Select Google Forms. And in this video guys, we are using Google Forms, but if you want, you can use some other form building application of your choice as well, like Typeform, JotForm, Pabbly Form Builder, or any other form building application. And after selecting Google Forms from Choose App, here in Trigger Event from the drop-down, select New Response Received. After selecting a trigger event, Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. Now we will use this webhook URL to make the connection between Google Form and Pabbly Connect. So guys, here what we have to do, we just have to copy this webhook URL from here and follow the help text given below over here. So after copying this webhook URL, just go to the form, the order form which you have created in Google Form. So this is the form, and in this form, I'm asking some details of the order from the customer, like the name of the customer, email, mobile number, delivery address that where we are supposed to deliver the product, just example for cake, delivery date and time, what's the name they want to be written on the cake, what's the flavor of cake they want, and what is the quantity. So here guys, whatever form you want to create, you can create in Google Form. Just ensure that the last question of that form should be turned on to the required section. So last question should be mandatory to answer by the customer. Just turn it on. And after that, right now we are in the questions tab. We will switch to the responses tab over here in Google Forms. And we will click on this tiny little icon of create spreadsheet. Just click on it, select create a new spreadsheet and click on create. When we will click on create guys, in a new tab, a Google Sheet will open up. And this is the same sheet guys in which the form submission response or form submission data are stored of our Google Form. So whenever we will receive a form submission in Google Form, automatically that data is by default stored in this sheet. So from this sheet, we will be sending the form submission data to Google Pabbly Connect. And instead of Google Forms, if you are using just Google Sheet, you are manually entering all of the order details in Google Sheet. And in that way, you want to generate new invoices, you can follow the same process over here. Now to connect this sheet with Pabbly Connect, we have to go to Extensions, Add-ons and click on Get Add-ons. After clicking on Get Add-ons, here we will reach on Google Workspace Marketplace. And here in Search app, we have to search for Pabbly Connect Webhooks. Pabbly, Pabbly Connect Webhooks. And as you can see, this add-on of Pabbly Connect Webhooks is already installed in my Google Sheets. You just have to install the same add-on into your own Google Sheet, and after that, just refresh your Google Sheets once. This is a very important step. And after refreshing it, once again we'll go to Extensions. Pabbly Connect Webhook add-on can be seen over here. Just hover on it and here click on Initial Setup. Now when we click on Initial Setup, a dialog box appears in front of us. And this dialog box is asking us three basic questions: selected sheet, webhook URL and trigger column. So here in selected sheet, we have to select the sheet that from which sheet we want to send the data to Pabbly Connect. So here in this spreadsheet, you can see there is only one sheet right now, and that is Form Response 1. The name of that sheet is Form Response 1. That is why by default this sheet is selected. Then the second thing it is asking us is the webhook URL. So you must be remembering guys, Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. So we have to paste the same webhook URL which Pabbly Connect workflow we have received and paste it over here. And after entering the same webhook URL, the next thing it asks us is the trigger column. Now you must be thinking, what is this trigger column? So trigger column is basically the last data entry column of our Google Sheet. So guys, here in the background example, you can see that column I will be my trigger column because this is the last data entry column of my sheet, this sheet. After column I, in none of the column, any of my data does not exist. That's why I will select column I as trigger column. Instead of column I, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, any column could be your trigger column of your Google Sheet. You just have to ensure that it is the last data entry column. It is the last column in which your data is entering. And after entering this trigger column, click on Submit. And setup configured successfully. We have successfully connected this Google Sheet in which our Google Form responses will be stored with Pabbly Connect. Now just close it. Once again go to Extensions, go to Pabbly Connect Webhooks, and this time select this option of Send on Event. Just click on it, and by selecting Send on Event, we are telling this Google Sheet that whenever a data of a new row, data in a new row is added, till our trigger column. This means by this use case, whenever a new form submission data is added in this Google Sheet, instantly send that data to Pabbly Connect. So by selecting Send on Event, we are telling this to Google Sheet. And now guys, we are ready to go. Now whenever we will receive a new response in this Google form, automatically that form submission data will be received in Pabbly Connect. So what we are going to do, we are going to place a test order, a dummy order using this Google form. Just copy the share link of this form. Just copy it, and in a new tab, we are going to paste it. So this is the order form, and we are going to place a dummy order using this form. For example, let's enter some dummy details. Example, dummy name. So this is just a dummy details of a customer, email address, a dummy mobile number, then a dummy delivery address as well. After that, we have to enter a dummy delivery date and time also. So for this dummy order, I want my delivery date to be, let's select the date as, for example, 25th of September 2022, and time should be, for example, 6 p.m. Okay, after this, let's enter the name of the cake. For example, name of the cake I want is dummy. Let's select a flavor. So I will be selecting, just for this dummy response, we'll be selecting flavor as choco chip, and the quantity will be, for example, 2 kgs. So these two details are very important as well. So right now, after entering some details, we are just going to place a test order, a dummy form submission in this form. Click on Submit, and the form has been submitted. And because we have connected this form, or basically this Google Sheet with Pabbly Connect, here in Google Sheet we can see that form submission response is added. Instantly, this same data will also be captured inside Pabbly Connect. And yes, here in Pabbly Connect, we can see that we have received some response. And this is the response of the same form submission, same data which we have just now made while entering this form. So we have the same name of the customer, same email, same mobile number, same address, same date and time, that at what date and time customer has requested the order or the cake should be delivered. Name on cake, same flavor of cake, and also the same quantity. So in this way, guys, we have successfully received the order details from Google Forms and Pabbly Connect. Now, guys, to create the invoice, we need to add the total calculations and the total amount and total values of the invoice as well. That what is the product that has been ordered by the customer, what is the quantity, what is the price, what is the total amount, and all of those things. But guys, here, like you can see in this Google form which we have created, we have given an option, for example, of 4 products. You can basically give any amount of products of your choice, but all of these 4 products have different price. Like for chocolate, the price is, for example, 400 rupees per kg. For choco chip, it is 500 rupees per kg. Let's take an example of pineapple, that is 600 rupees per kg, and the butterscotch cake is 700 rupees per kg. Now, guys, suppose all of these 4 products have different pricing. So the total amount of the invoice can also be static. And also not just the flavor of the cake, but the quantity of the cake is also a variable. Like the customer will be choosing what amount of cake they want, what is the size of the cake they want. So we have to basically multiply the price of the cake and the quantity of the cake to get the total amount. And we have to add all of those value into the invoice which we are going to create. Now, guys, but to do so, first we have to introduce the prices of the cake in this automation workflow. And to do so, guys, we are going to use a feature of Pabbly Connect, that is Lookup Table. So using Lookup Table, we are going to create a pricing table in this workflow, a short little pricing table where we are going to mention the name of all the products and their price in front of that. And after that, using Lookup Table, whatever flavor of the cake, whatever product the customer will be choosing, whatever data will be receiving from Google Forms selected by the customer, the name of that product and the price of that product will be given by in the response by Lookup Table. So how it works, let me show you. So we will just scroll down and come to our action window. And here in Choose App, we will search for Lookup Table. Select Lookup Table, and in action event from the drop down, select this, click on Connect. Now, after selecting Lookup Table, the first thing it asks us is the lookup key. So here in lookup key, we have to basically map this response of flavor of cake. Basically the response of the product whose price we want to know in response. So this is the product, just we have to map this response of flavor of cake over here. And guys, the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field, and in the drop down below, we can see all the responses we have received from form submission from Google Forms can be seen over here. And out of all of these responses, select the response of flavor of cake and it will be mapped over here. After that, the next thing it asks us is the fallback value. So this is not a mandatory thing. You can ignore it for now. And the next thing it asks us is the lookup table. So here, one by one, in label section, we have to mention the exact name of the product, the exact name of the flavor of the cake in label section. And in value, in front of that, we have to mention the price of the product. So let me show this to you with an example. So let's see, our first product over here was chocolate. So we will just copy this exact spelling, the exact text of that flavor name, product name, that is chocolate. And the rate which we have decided for chocolate was 400 rupees. So I will enter 400 over here. Then click on this plus button. Then our next product, next flavor was choco chip. Let's copy the same exact name of choco chip, which we are going to get from Google Form response, and paste it over here. And the price of choco chip was 500. Click here, and in this way, basically we have to add all the products. We have to create a table of all the products and their pricing. So in label section, we are going to mention the product name, the response name or the flavor name, which we are going to get from form submission. And in front of that, in value section, we will be mentioning their price, which we want to get in response. And at last, the butterscotch. Copy this, paste it over here, and then the price is 700. So in this way, I've created a pricing table like the product name and in front of that in value section, their price. So whatever product the customer will be selecting over here in Google Forms, we will get that response. That same response is mapped over here. So whatever product the customer will be selecting in while making the form submission, in response of lookup table, we will get that product name and the price of it, the value in front of it. Let's click on Save and Send Test Request and check this. And yes, because we have mapped choco chip over here, in response we can see choco chip and the value of choco chip. That what is the price of choco chip, that is 500 we have entered over here. So in this way, whatever product is customer is choosing in lookup table, we can get the price of that product. So we have the order details from Google Forms and we have also received the price of the product ordered by the customer. Now guys, after getting the price of the product which customer has ordered, we have to multiply this price with the quantity. To do this kind of multiplication, just click on this add action step button over here and here in choose app, search for number formatter. So number formatter is a feature, is a module of Pabbly Connect using which we can also do the calculations. So after selecting number formatter by Pabbly, in action event from the drop down, select perform math operation and click on connect. Then the first thing it asks us is the numbers, that what are the numbers on between which you want to perform the math operation. So we want to perform the math operation between the price of the product which we have received from lookup table and the quantity which customer has ordered, the response which we have received of quantity from Google Forms in trigger window. So we will be mapping this quantity and price over here in this number field. Just click here and from the drop down below from the responses of lookup table, first select and map the price of the product. Then add a comma, and after adding the comma from the responses of Google Forms, select the response of quantity and map it. And after mapping the price and quantity, in operations from the drop down below, select multiply and click on save. So in this way guys, we have performed this math operation and in this math operation, we can see that we have the value. So we have multiplied the price of the product by with the quantity which customer has ordered and we have received the total amount. Now at last, we have to send all of these details, all of this data which we have received to Google Docs so that the template invoice which we have created using in Google Docs, using this invoice, we can generate new invoice for every new order using this automation. Now to do so, just scroll down and for the one last time, click on this add action step button over here. And here in choose app, search for Google Docs. Google Docs it is. And then in action event from the drop down, select create document from template. So we have the template and we want to create a new invoice document. So select action event as create document from template and click on connect. Select add new connection and click on connect with Google Docs. Select your Google Docs account, the same account in which your invoice template is created, or you have created your invoice template. And then here in a new tab, it is asking us to authorize. Just click on continue. And now we can see that our Google Docs account gets connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is to select the template document. So in the drop down below, we can see a list of all the documents which we have created in Google Docs can be seen over here. And out of all of this document, we have to select the template invoice document which we have created. So the name of this document is invoice template. So we will be selecting this template over here. And after selecting our template, the next thing it asks us is new document name. That the new document, new invoices which we are going to generate, what will be the name of that invoice? So I want the name of the newly generated invoice to be the name of the customer who has placed the order. We have received the name of the customer from Google Forms. And after that, I want the date of the date at which what date and time the customer has ordered the response. So on Google Form submission, here we have received the timestamp that at what timestamp or at what date and time we have received the order, we have received the form submission. So we will be mapping both of these details, the name of the customer and the timestamp to generate a new name for the new document. So we'll just scroll down. We'll click here in this new document name field and from Google Form responses, select the response of customer name, add a hyphen, and after that map the timestamp. Then it is asking us new document location, that what is the location of the new document which we are willing to create. So the newly generated document will be stored on the Google Drive of our account, the same account which we have connected in Google Docs account. on the Google Drive of that same account, the newly generated document will be stored. So here it is asking us in which folder, particularly in which folder this new document we want to be stored. So let's go to my Google Drive first. This is Google Drive. And here guys, I have a folder named as new files. So I want that whatever new invoices we have generated, that new invoices should be stored in this new files named as folder. So here in Pabbly Connect, from the drop down, from the list of all the folders which we have created in our Google Drive, select that particular folder. And after that, now we can see a list of all the variables, all the curly braces which we have added in our Google Doc can be seen over here. Now guys, the details, or like the customer name, address, email address, mobile number, invoice number, and all of these details are basically going to be a dynamic text, a variable for every new invoices. All of these details are going to be changed for every new invoice. And to add these kind of text, these kind of variables, body fields, or some dynamic text which are going to change for every new invoice, I have added some text in double curly braces. So this is basically a variable, a dynamic text, a body field should we say. And guys, here we can see a list of all of these body fields, all of these text which I have added in double curly braces. We can see different fields for all of these text over here in Pabbly Connect workflow. So one by one, what text we want to place or insert in place of these body fields, we have to enter that text over here. Like here in this invoice, new invoice, in place of this customer name body field, customer name dynamic text, I want that name of the customer who placed the order should be entered. So here in customer name, from the drop down from Google Form responses, we will map the name of the customer. Then in place of customer address, we will be mapping the name of address of the customer which we have received from Google Forms. So this is the delivery address. Then in place of email, we will be mapping the email of the customer. This is it. And one by one, in this way, we will be mapping all of the data. Let's map the mobile number. Now after that, here it asks us for the invoice number. So all the invoices which I am generating using this automation, I want the invoice number to be that INV dash, and after dash, I want to mention the row number. So this is the row index of the row which we have received from Google Sheets. So here after Google Form submission, the data which we have received from form submission from Google Sheet, we have the row number that at what row number this data is present. So I want to add this row number over here in this invoice number. So I'll be mapping the row index over here. Then let's map the delivery date and time which we have received from Google Forms. So this is the delivery date and time, just map it. Let's map the name of the product, the flavor of the product or flavor of the cake which customer has ordered. Let's map the quantity. So we have also received the quantity over here. So to map the price, we will be mapping the response from Lookup Table from where we have received the price of the product which customer has ordered. And at last, the total amount. So here in total amount from the drop down, after using number formatter, we have multiplied the price with quantity and received the total amount. So this is the total amount which customer has ordered. So in this way, guys, we can see all the data which we have mapped over here. Basically, all the data which we have received from Google Forms, Lookup Table, and after using number formatter and all the calculation, making all the calculation of amount, we have mapped all of that data over here. And now just click on Save and Send Test Request. And after clicking on Save and Send Test Request, we can see that we have received some response over here. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows using all this data which we have mapped and this template, a new document is been generated, a new invoice has been generated. The name of the new document is this which we have entered and it is stored on our Google Drive in this particular folder. So let's check. We will go to Google Drive and this is the folder. And yes guys, here in this folder we can see there is a new document. Let's open this document. So this is the same document name, the name of the customer who placed the order and the date and time of receiving the order. Then we have this invoice and in this invoice we can see this is the same invoice generated using this template which we have created. And all the details are the same in this invoice. Like we have the same name of the customer who placed the order using Google Form. We have the same address, same email address, same mobile number of the customer. We have the invoice number and delivery date and time. Also guys, we have the description of the product, the quantity, price and amount which customer has ordered. So in this way guys, we have created an automation, a simple automation by which you can receive online orders using Google Forms, and using this automation, automatically an invoice will be generated in using a Google Docs template of invoice and it will be stored in our Google Drive. So guys, after setting up this automation, let's test this automation once in real time. So we are going to place another order. Let's refresh this Google form, and this time let's enter the details for some new user. For example, the name of the user is test name. Let's add some different email address. Let's enter a different mobile number as well. A different delivery address. And now let's add a date and time. For example, 30th of September 2022. The time should be 12 p.m. Name of cake is, for example, test. Flavor of cake, this time we will be ordering the butterscotch cake and for 4 kgs. Let's select this and click on submit. So as we submit the form, guys, we will see instantly, automatically within seconds, a new invoice is generated using this automation which we have created, and that new invoice file is stored or created in our Google Drive. So in Google Drive, we can see just now a new document is created. The name of this document is test name and the date and time of form submission. Let's open this document and we will see this is the same invoice which we have just now generated using the data from the form submission. We have the same customer name, same address, same email address, same phone numbers, same product description, same product butterscotch cake, 4 kg, 700 was the price, and the total amount is 2800 rupees. So using this automation, guys, we can say that the automation which we have created is working perfectly fine. And every time when you will receive an online order using Google Forms, and this automation will automatically create an invoice for that order, and it will be stored into a Google Drive. So now, guys, further in this automation, if you want to send the invoice to your customer or update your team, or whatever you want to do, just keep on adding action step over here. Like if you want to send the invoice via WhatsApp, just add the WhatsApp step next to it. If you want to send the invoice via email, send the email step next to it, or whatever you want to do, you can do this using this automation. So if you want, you can just keep on adding steps according to your choice in this automation as well. So not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications using Pabbly Connect. And guys, one more important thing. You will find the clone link of the same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone this same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account. And also, Pabbly Connect offers you a forever free plan. And in this plan, you will get free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation, you can do it for absolutely free.
If you need any kind of help or have any queries, you can ask them on forum.pabbly.com, and you can check Pabbly Connect's pricing at this link. So if this video was helpful to you, you can like this video, don't forget to share it with others, and to keep getting such content on automation and integration, you can subscribe to Pabbly. Thank you, have a nice day.